Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. An immense lap from Fernando Alonso yesterday puts him on pole position, just edging out Alex Albon, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Stroll, Tsunoda, Russell, Hülkenberg, Bottas, Hamilton, Verstappen, Sainz, Magnussen, Perez, Joe, Norris, Sargent, Oscar Piastri, Ocon, Gasly, De Vries, and Charles Leclerc completes today's grid order. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out. The formation lap gets underway ahead of today's sprint. It's going to be interesting to see who gets pole position. We're almost ready to start the sprint as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
That's us in 10th position. Hamilton's ahead of you, less than a second separates you. They're on fresh mediums. Perez is behind you. Okay, the gap is less than a second. They're on fresh softs. Okay, so gap to the leader is 5.5 seconds. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go. Okay, 18 laps to go. Hulkenberg just ahead. Push, push. Okay, so the gap to the car ahead, 0.9 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. Their tyres are 2 laps old, and the time last lap was a 1 minute 39.6. Okay, so you're gaining by 1/10 a lap. Verstappen's ahead of you, less than a second separates you. They're on fresh softs. Their tyres are 2 laps old. The car ahead has some front wing damage, but it's not losing too much pace yet, just be aware. Your last lap time was a 1:39.2. Alright, at the moment you're losing 0.3 a lap. Come on, dig in. That's P7 now, P7, Bottas ahead. Okay, the gap is less than a second. They're on fresh mediums, and Verstappen's behind. They're on fresh softs. The distance to the leader is 6.7 seconds. Look after these tyres now, you want to finish the race on this compound. Alright, 16 laps to go.
Damage. Box and pit confirm, Max. Box, pit confirm.
Bottas is ahead of you now. Less than a second separates you. They're on fresh mediums. Their tyres are 5 laps old. Time last lap was a 1 minute 39.9. Okay, so you're gaining by 1/10 a lap. P6, you've got P6. Tsunoda ahead. Okay, the gap is less than a second. They're on fresh mediums. Bottas is behind you. They're on fresh mediums. Okay, gap to leader, 8.3 seconds. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. Good job, nice overtake. Russell's ahead of you now. Okay, keep an eye on that gap ahead, please. 1.5 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. Their tyres are 5 laps old, and the time last lap was a 1:39.5. All right, at the moment you're losing 0.3 a lap. Come on, dig in. Good work, we're in P4. Albon ahead. Less than a second separates you. They're on fresh mediums. Russell behind. Okay, the gap is less than a second. They're on fresh mediums. Our gap to first place is 7.3 seconds. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go. Okay, 12 laps to go. Okay, here's the gap that we're trailing the car ahead by. 1.2 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. Their tyres are 8 laps old. Your last lap time was a 1:39.3. Okay, so you're gaining by 1/10 a lap. Gap to your teammate behind is 6.7 seconds. They're on old mediums. They're in 10th place. Time last lap was a 1:39.0. Brilliant, nice move, keep going. Alonso's ahead of you. Okay, gap to the car ahead is 7.1 seconds. They're on old mediums. Okay, they've done 10 laps on those tyres, and the time last lap was a 1:38.9. Okay, so you're gaining by around 6/10 a lap. Second place, we're in second place. Alonso ahead. Our gap to the car in front is 6.5 seconds. They're on old mediums. Stroll behind. Our gap behind is 1.3 seconds. They're on old mediums. Look after these tyres now. You want to finish the race on this compound. And that's 8 laps to go. Lap time was a 1:38.5. Alonso's ahead of you. Okay, gap ahead is 6.5 seconds. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 12 laps old. Your last lap time was a 1 minute 39.5. Okay, so you're gaining by 1/10 a lap. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 11.8 seconds. They're on old mediums. They're in 9th place. Time last lap was a 1:41.1. Tyre condition still looking good. That's Stroll behind you. Okay, so the gap to the car behind is 2.4 seconds. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 13 laps old, and the time last lap was a 1 minute 40.2. Alonso ahead, and gap to the car in front is 6.0 seconds. They're on old mediums. Your last lap time was a 1:39.9. We're gaining by around 2/10 per lap. Keep going. Okay, you're sat in P2. Alonso's ahead of you. Okay, so the gap to the car ahead 4.8 seconds. They're on old mediums. Okay, Russell's behind you now. Okay, push, push, gap to the car behind. 4.6 seconds. They're on old mediums. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. 4 laps remaining. Okay, that's us with 5 laps of fuel remaining. 5 laps of fuel left. Managing your tyres, manage your tyres. Russell behind. Okay, car behind trailing us. 4.8 seconds. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 16 laps old. Time last lap was a 1 minute 40.0. No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving. We've got enough fuel for 3 more laps. Second place, we're in second place. Alonso ahead. Okay, keep an eye on that gap ahead, please. 4.2 seconds. They're on old mediums. Okay, Russell's behind you now. Okay, gap to the car behind. 5.4 seconds. They're on old mediums. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go. 2 laps left. Next time by will be your final lap. Gap to your teammate behind is 0.7 seconds. They're on old mediums. They're 8th. And the time last lap was a 1:40.1. Okay, final lap. Let's go. Final lap. laps of fuel left.
Yes, baby.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
So let's review the updated driver standings. The gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race today for our championship leader. The grid is set then, so that just leaves the race itself. Join us tomorrow where we'll be live with all the action. And until then, goodbye.